Hi, welcome to the Foolish Philosopher, and today we have a question, and the question is from Brian. The question is, where am I standing? Referenced to what? North Pole, everything is down. South Pole, everything is up. Or is the world upside down? Well, thank you, Brian, for your wonderful question. It reminds me of the INXS song, Never Tear Us Apart. You were standing. I was there. Two worlds collided, shining through, and they could never, ever tear us apart. Two people standing in a quantum superposition. Their worlds have collided and now exist in a state of quantum entanglement because they have observed each other. Human brains have evolved to relate to the Iconisation of reality. I'm not even sure if that's a word, but what I mean by that is we understand the world via abstract representations or icons designed to assist us make sense of the chaotic world we find ourselves in. Up and down is an invented concept used to qualify our reality in a crude one-dimensional sense. We may represent this linear explanation as up and down, which certainly would conform to our preconceptions of what up and down might mean. But I would say it's equally as valid to say up and down. For example, we look up and down the table. The question also refers to south and north. The compass is a system of representing reality in order to convey meaning. This is a two-dimensional map of space with an assignment of direction dependent on a relative point, i.e. in this case, magnetic north. There isn't really an east or a west. They are human inventions to help us navigate ourselves using a clever piece of technology, probably accidentally invented and unknowingly because of the nature of the iron in the core of the earth, and helped us navigate ourselves on planet Earth. But it is a localised phenomena. On another planet, the magnetic field may have a completely different orientation or no magnetic field at all. This can't be used as a technique to allocate a true location or orientation of Brian or another person or an object. Your real question involves a model of three-dimensional space. If you take a standard XY axis and add in a perpendicular Z axis, you now have a three-dimensional representation of reality, and hypothetically you could graph your whereabouts within three-dimensional space. We find it easy to imagine this because our minds have evolved to think this way. We find it difficult to imagine a space that doesn't have a three-dimensional nature of left and right and up and down and forwards and backwards. This is why three-dimensional games are always designed in this manner. The crux of Brian's question is, what is the relative point within that three-dimensional space? Brian, you are that relative point. You are the observer in the center of your observable universe. And you need to plot all the objects in relation to your current location, including planets, stars, the North Pole, and Santa Claus for that matter. I know what you are thinking. I haven't orientated you within that three-dimensional space. I would think of the answer as a three-dimensional compass of potential. Only you can observe your observable universe from your unique location and all the objects within your observable universe, but all the other observers need to be able to observe you from their unique locations and observable universes. I didn't actually study physics at high school, but from my uneducated point of view, I would say that this is along the lines of the answer to the reason why reality manifests in such a strange and confusing way in quantum mechanics, as shown in the double slit experiment, and why entanglement occurs. The world isn't upside down. It's just confusing to our first-person biased point of view. But because it exists, it also needs to be observed by all the observers who also contain first-person biased points of view of the world. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below or leave a question, and don't forget to subscribe to the Foolish Philosopher. And I'll see you next time for another video. But firstly, a disclaimer. My wife has decided that it is appropriate that I point out that I actually don't have an area of expertise, or I'm not a physicist or a scientist or even a philosopher. I have no degree at all, and I consider myself a performance artist. I might not be your favourite performance artist, but this is my version of performance art. My wife was very worried. She hasn't actually watched this video, but she heard I had a video, Why Do Crabs Walk Sideways? And she was worried that a young student would come across this video and write about it in their school project on Why Do Crabs Walk Sideways. She's accusing me of corrupting the young. Socrates was also accused of corrupting the young, but he was put to death. Let's hope that doesn't happen. In saying that, please watch my Why Do Crabs Walk Sideways, and you'll notice that it is particularly unique in relation to other Why Do Crabs Walk Sideways explanations. And I would like you to tell me why my explanation is erroneous in any way or needs some work. Well, please tell me, wow, that's a great explanation. And I shall see you next time for another video.